Let's humble ourselves and we pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for the gift of this day. We thank you for the opportunity to gather together through this online engagement. As we begin this meeting, we invite you for your guidance, wisdom, and understanding. Grant us clear minds, attentive hearts, and respectful communication. Help us to listen carefully, speak thoughtfully, and work together in unity and purpose. Bless everyone on this call. May we be able to understand and put into practice whatever we are going to learn from this session. May you protect our children as they are at school and also those that are still at home. We make this prayer through Christ our Lord. You are most welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. Other members will be joining us, but we are going to start our session, and allow me to welcome Dr. Samuel to take us through this presentation. Doctor, you're most welcome.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, you are very clear, Doctor.
Okay, now, Mr. Kaso, I sent you the presentation because my laptop is challenging to project it. I don't know whether on your end you can be able to project it.
It is well, Doctor. Let me get it here.
Okay. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Once again, my name is Samuel Kimbowa, and this afternoon we want to look at a topic that most people don't pay attention to, but is critically important as far as our health is concerned, and that is the subject of nutrition. Before we begin, uh, when you look at most of the training health workers get, this subject of nutrition, they don't have a lot of information about it usually. Um, they don't go much depth, though they have little information, but they don't go in so much detail. But it is of recent, there has been an interest in nutrition actually as a treatment itself. Nutrition, to use it for treatment of cancer, weight loss, other metabolic conditions, diabetes, and even now we are into mental health. There's a new branch in mental health called metabolic psychiatry. And we are looking at how we can use diet or nutrition to support people who have mental health conditions. And research has shown that actually they have improved. There is a book I would recommend for those who want to read. It's called Brain Energy. It's a very good book that you can look at. One of the psychiatrists has written it, and he has treated many patients using nutrition. So that's why it's important to look into this. Next slide. Yeah, eating well. First of all, in our context, if you look at if you have an illness and you are recovering, why is it important to eat well? First of all, eating well is part of a health lifestyle. If you were to say I'm healthy, uh, you cannot live out eating well. It's very, very critical. If you want your body to be healthy, if you want it to function well, you have to eat well as well. Um, then health eating practices can improve our mental health, but also we are what we eat. If you look at yourself, whether you're sick or not at the moment, whether you are overweight, whether you are underweight, whether you don't sleep well, whether you are moody all the time, it might be that the way you eat actually, it might be that those symptoms or behaviors reflect more depending on what you eat. But unfortunately, many of our foods we eat today, especially we young people, we love uh, these things we see in the supermarkets, cake, pizza, uh, even locally, Commando, Rolex. They are sweet foods, but usually they are over processed and they contain, some of them contain chemicals. And research has shown that some of these chemicals actually, they affect how our brain and how our body works. And even as much as they are sweet, most of them lack essential nutrients our bodies need. But also, when we eat food, where does the food go? The food goes in our gut. Um, Actually, research has shown that your gas, gut or your gastroesophageal system, from the way you swallow food up to your esophagus, right to your stomach, and so that whole system actually is very, very critical to your health and even mental health. Actually, these days we are saying that your gut is your second brain. That is where food is um, filtered, food is converted into um, the essential or extracted into essential amino acids and minerals and many things that the body needs, including the brain. And also there are essential bacteria that help us, by the way, to digest this food. So when you don't eat well, once your gut is affected, even your life is going to be affected. I think someone shared something in the newspapers recently. I saw in the group we had, mental health support group, that young people these days are crying a lot of ulcers, and no one has come up to say why. But one of the things is the way we eat. As we shall see, most of us we've even packed already instant noodles in our suitcases. But on the other side, we will see that as much as they are a convenient food to make, but they have a lot of uh, health impacts uh, on our bodies. So the ability to concentrate and focus comes from the adequate supply of energy. Like when we eat, this food goes to the brain, and depending on the components of the food, it will also determine how our brain will function. Okay. Yes. And actually, the brain uses 20% of all the energy needed by the body, so which is a big chunk. So it's important that actually we are talking about nutrition and mental health. And next slide. Uh, Now, specifically, when we eat adequate nutrition, I'm going to add in another component which is missing these days, which we call physical activity, or some of us can call it exercise, can positively impact brain health. Like if you have good nutrition, uh, good physical activity, it can improve your brain health, and it can support brain growth and development, increase neurogenesis. So I'm going to use sometimes, but neurogenesis is your nerves can regrow or can increase the connections inside your brain when you do what? When you exercise and eat well, okay? But even your brain size, the bigger the brain, the better your mental health can work. Especially we shall look at things like memory. Um, then improve neuroplasticity, your a bit of the brain to acquire new information and master. All this can be important. Then improve processing speed, how your brain works out information very, very fast. But also when you eat, it reduces inflammation. Is like it protects you from acquiring diseases and injuries within your body. Then cellular damage. When you eat well, it also reduces your a bit of your cells not to die very faster or not to be affected by certain chemicals that we take, especially in processed foods. Next slide. I think I repeated this. You can skip that and go to the next one. Now, many factors can contribute to poor nutrition. The first important thing we need to ask ourselves, what is a healthy diet? Do we know what a healthy diet comprises of? Okay. And the other question we need to ask ourselves, how to choose healthy foods or beverages. In most cases, we see nice foods here and there, good looking food, good looking beverages, good looking snacks. But how do we have this knowledge that helps us to choose what is good for our bodies, what will benefit our bodies, not only in terms of taste, but when you eat something, your body should benefit not only to feel you and feel satisfied, but it should help, first of all, to improve the health of your body, prevent diseases, and so many other positive things. Okay. But also, one of the things is how do we prepare healthy foods? Most of us, we no longer prepare, even in at homes where they come from, they no longer prepare health foods. Uh, these days, people we like frying. We only think if the food is not fried, then it's not prepared in a healthy way. But there are other methods in which good food can be prepared, not only frying. Okay, so these factors can contribute to poor nutrition, and also when we eat poorly, it can also affect and reduce our physical health. Of course, the other factors, food insecurity. Is the food available? Okay. Is it accessible? We know our friends in some of the country, they have struggled um, with food. In some regions, we've had regions like Karamoja. People in refugee camps, sometimes they struggle with availability and access of food. But also look at affordability. Some of us who stay in urban centers, towns, to access food, there are seasons when food is expensive, okay? And the only food you can afford is cheaper, but it may not contribute to your health, okay? But also the other factor is knowledge. Do we know what we are eating? Do you know how it supports or affects your body? Okay. When you pick up some food in a supermarket, do you turn the back and look at the ingredients and contents in the food? Or you just enjoy the food? Okay. So all these are things that can lead to poor nutrition that affects our health. Next slide. Now, our physical health can impact mental health. If you eat poorly, coupled with some of us, yes, it's good to be at school and get good grades. But some of us, even at break time, we don't even go to stretch and exercise. We don't participate in sports, even walking. Uh, some of us, I don't know whether we have day scholars on this platform, but most of us, uh, you want to use a border all the time. You walk a few distances. Some of us walking from the dormitory to the class is so near, so you don't take time to do physical exercises. Even some of us, we are so busy in our schools with academics, but we don't have time for exercise. So this one overall is going to affect your physical health. And once you're sick, look at the cost of medication, cost of life changes, stress, okay? But when you have all these physical and changes, they can also lead to mental health. And this can increase the risk of conditions like I feel depressed, I feel anxious. But you cannot trace it back to things like am I eating well? Am I exercising? Okay. If you don't do those things somehow, they can also contribute to your mental health will go down if you're eating poorly, if you don't engage in any form of physical activity or exercise. Next slide. Now, the mood in the food. This is where I want us to pay attention, especially we young people. We know that food can be sweet, but like we said, we have processed foods that are processed in industries, but there are also local foods we buy from maybe the market, foods we can get from our gardens, those of us who have gardens. On one side, you see that actually negative mood can be impacted by foods like that are processed. Some of us we like KFC. We like to eat instant noodles. Every time you want to eat macaroni, you want to eat that KFC Kentucky Kitchen. But you see, research has shown that actually, although it fuels us, but it can even affect our mood. Fatty, high calorie, there are a lot of calories, high sugars, and eat this food in excess, it can make us feel low. Then, most of us, we have biscuits, we have sweets, we want to take those too much sodas and those other drinks, artificial drinks, cookies. Now, some of these foods, as much as they are tasty, the way they are made, they have what we call artificial sweeteners, food colors or food dyes. Some of you don't know that some of these food colors come from the source, the original source are petroleum products. And these are going to affect our mood swings, especially they tamper with hormones in our bodies. Okay. So refined sugar like candies, cookies, soft drinks, if we take them in excess, how do you feel when you take Coca-Cola? Some of us we take Sting because we want to stay alert and read a lot in the night. Those excess things can affect our health. Then some of us we take coffee, too much coffee, and other drinks. They can make us feel irritable. You are easily to anger, you feel anxious, but you don't know where these things come from. On the other side, if you eat good foods like eggs, fish, chicken, beans, this can improve our health in a way. Okay, you feel generally happy. Then um, nuts and seeds like nuts and other seeds can help us to feel well. Then we have meat, um, especially lean meat. This can also give us a feeling of being more alert, more active. Okay, and we say generally proteins, energy, and body giving foods as well. Okay, so we have to look at into what you eat, especially if you are a learner who is going to school. Okay. Yes. Next slide. So here, when you look at nutrition, a good diet when you look at mental health and physical health together, if you combine good diet, mental health, and then physical health, it's what makes you a healthy individual. Okay. Yeah, you cannot be healthy by only doing one and leaving off the other. Okay. Yes, that's why we say a health mind in a health body. But also we can say with healthy food. Okay. That's why we can have a healthy individual. Okay. Yes. Yeah. Next slide. So when you look at mental health is our emotional, mental, and social well-being. How you feel. Okay. Mental might be how you think, how you make decisions, how you solve problems, but even social, how the people you talk to as your friends or interact with. Okay. If they are all balanced and moving on well, if those areas move on well, then we say that the individual at least has some level of good mental health. Okay. Yes. But when you have problems with emotions, you're sad most of the time. You are worried. You are not thinking straight. You don't make good decisions. when you read, even you don't remember what you've read. It's difficult. Okay. You are isolated from people. You are not physically active. Then that is going to affect your mental health. Okay. So it's important to observe these things so that we can keep our mental health. And remember, our mental health is important as students, not only in keeping us well, but even in learning. Okay. Yes. Continue. Now, if you look at the situation of the world and Uganda, these are just statistics. Depression, okay, is quite a lot globally of recent, but anxiety, as much as it is short, if you look at 280 people globally, um, have some form of depression, and then anxiety, we have about 4%. But these figures actually, for us, we just say they just give a general overview, but we think it's more than that. Because why? People with these conditions like mental health and depression, anxiety, and other conditions, they don't easily come out because they fear people are going to judge them. Okay. But when you look at Uganda, some statistics have shown that 30.2% million people have depression. Then anxiety is about 20, close to 27. Okay. But if you look at Uganda specifically, what is the largest population? They are young people. Okay. They are children, adolescents, and youth. Okay. Which means the biggest age group, if you are to look at a sizable number has some form of mental health issues. Yeah. Yes. So we need to take note of this. That even like I've said, these statistics are quite low for me. Was at least done some research. Like I said, most people don't even know that they have mental health issues. Others who know fear to come out, but others also think these are maybe demonic, witchcraft, cultural issues. But usually these are mental health issues. So they are widespread, and actually, we are projecting that the numbers may increase if people don't do certain things, including the nutrition that we are discussing right now. Let's continue. Mm. Next slide. The impact of nutrition. Um, Next slide. I cannot see this down. Yeah. So now, when you eat food, like I said, it has nutrients. And many nutrients can impact on our mental health. Actually, in developed countries, they have done a lot of studies on depression, major, and anxiety. And they have found out that many people who have depression and anxiety, they may eat foods that lack some of these important nutrients. Omega-3 fatty acids, these are good for your brain. Vitamin B6, vitamin B12, memory, okay, is very, very, if you lack it, it cannot form red blood cells even for any traveling oxygen. That's why people with low vitamin B12, sometimes they struggle with anemia. Folate or folic acid, vitamin D. Most vitamin D can be in fatty foods like meat, fish, even the sunshine, by the way. Sunshine actually is a free form of vitamin D, but most of us, even getting out to get that little sunshine, you feel it's a burden. But it's an opportunity for you to get vitamin D to improve your immunity. Vitamin D is very, very essential. Then vitamin C, then vitamin E. All these vitamins are important. Then selenium, this is a mineral, magnesium, mineral, zinc, iron, iodine, all these, tyrosine, are important for your brain function. But what do we do most of the time? We take sugars, refined sugars. We take a lot of carbohydrates. We take a lot of saturated fat. Okay. Blue band. If I was a young person, actually, I would advocate that we don't take blue band. Okay. Instead, use OD. OD is much better than blue band in your food. Okay. Blue band actually is not a natural occurring fat. It's manufactured. So it's bad for your health. It's bad for your heart. Okay. It's bad for your blood vessels. So I would, if I was someone to advise you, I wouldn't advise you to take. When I take Blue Band, margarine is Blue Band, is Prestige, and other forms. Ghee is much better if you take it. Then butter if you can afford. But even avocado has good saturated fats if I could. So what are the some of the mechanisms? Um, some of these things we've talked about the vitamins and minerals. They are very important in your brain structure and function. For example, fat, okay? But also there is what we call neurotransmitter synthesis and regulation. Neurotransmitters, these are chemicals that allow your brain to pass information from one part of the brain to the other. So when you don't eat very well, which means to the brain doesn't have the opportunity to make them or to regulate them. Some of them, when they are low, the brain doesn't function well. When they are very high, the brain cannot function well. Okay, but also some of these can protect you from what we call oxidative and inflammation damage, especially when you have stress. When you have stress, too much stress for some time, it can damage your brain or your body. Okay, your brain produces some compounds called free radicals. These can they keep damaging your body. But some of these foods and when you eat them that have these vitamins and minerals, they can protect your body. Okay, against that. But also, when you eat them, they can regulate mood and stress response. Okay. Yes, you can. We know that the life of a student has never been easy. It is somehow challenging. It is stressful. You really have to read a lot. You have to master so many, things. Yeah. So if you eat well, it can give the opportunity for your body to always fight back against this stress, or in how you respond to this stress. Okay. Yeah. So that's why nutrition is very important. Yes. Continue. Next slide. Yeah, so adequate nutrition, like I said, if you paired it with some level of exercise, can positively impact. Cognitive function is how your body, how your brain functions. Okay. Now, one of your wealth as a young person when you are in school is um, is your brain because it will help you to do a lot of things. That's if you are looking after it very well. So one is nutrition, physical activity, then it will improve your ability of the brain to work better. Okay. So like physical activity can improve blood flow to the brain. It can support memory and learning. It can support brain cell growth and functioning. But this is one thing, but we need to pair it with nutrition. Like when you eat food with the right carbohydrates, omega-3 fats, fatty acids, B12, all these vitamins you see, and minerals, they are very important. Some mechanisms within the brain can give us energy. They are energy source and energy metabolism. But also when we exercise and eat well, it improves on the brain structure, brain function, and can maintain our brains working well. Then I talked about neurotransmitters, but it can also protect us against getting sick, get injuries, and then damage. Next slide. Now, conversely, when we don't eat well and we don't do some level of physical exercise, this can negatively impact on our brain function. Like when you don't feed well, when you don't engage in exercise, your brain function is going to reduce. Not only when you do, in, in addition, if you are not having the benefits of adequate nutrition and physical activity, and you only eat, but you don't eat well, you don't exercise, um, it can increase on obesity, overweight. And overweight, it has can be linked to many diseases, but also dehydration. Most of us, I don't know how many of us drink enough water in a day. Okay, most of us, you want to eat or to take. The only drink you take is maybe tea, juice, sodas, but you really take water. Okay, but also some people, I know this can, though we don't, but some people sneak and take alcohol and drugs. Okay, so some of these can affect our brain as well. Okay, people take alcohol, drugs, and then this is going to affect our brain function. So young people, the last point of excessive alcohol and drug intake, please beware that it will affect your mental health. Okay? So do not be influenced by anyone, do not, or whether a friend or any other person, please do not indulge in taking alcohol or drugs. It will ruin your future. Okay. All right. So next, now the food we eat can affect our brain size, brain function, and our mental well-being. That's the key message. Um, yeah. So from those previous slides, now you're seeing that the way we eat, and I want you to think about the way you've been eating, whether it has been good. Some of I know some of you on this platform have already contacted me, and I've somehow had a discussion with them. But among the things you need to look at also, uh, think about the way you eat. Are you eating well? Okay? Some of us we like to eat chikomando. We like to eat, for example, I'll tell you, chikomando, chapati, doesn't have much of nutrients. Uh, the oil, the oil may not be that good. Um, and then the beans may also give you protein, but they may not give you much of the essential vitamins that you need. Okay. KFC, they taste well, but most of these foods, with studies have shown that they don't contain any essential, apart from tasting good. Some of these supermarket products, they look good. The sweets, the ice creams, the dyes. I'm not saying you should not eat them, but all I'm saying is that limit the intake. The focus should be on real foods. Limit the intake of these things, okay, so that they can improve your brain function and your mental well-being. Okay. Yes. Next slide. Now, some of us we don't know that actually we are in a cycle. Okay, we are in a cycle that never ends. Some of us you may have, for example, I can talk about mental health issues. But because maybe you are struggling, you have stress, stress may result into a mental health issue if it is not removed. But this mental health issue, um, you eat food. Okay. Sometimes most of us, when we are stressed, we eat anyhow because your food helps you to calm down. Okay. Um, and but because you are eating food that is not good, or you take in a lot of calories, sometimes it can even affect your body weight. Now, some of us as young people, we tend to love our bodies so much. If you are overweight, people will call you certain names. If you are underweight, some people are going to call you certain names. And then you begin to hate yourself, for example, negative perception on your body. Okay. And then again, some of us, because you want to fit in, you feel like, uh, let me starve. Okay. Let me starve myself. But starving is not good again. You don't need to starve your body. You just need to eat the right amount of food for your body. Okay. And then because you are looking at yourself negatively, that is going to affect your self-esteem, your belief in yourself. And then it goes back to stress. So it goes back to a cycle. Okay. So you can be trapped in that cycle and you don't understand that things like um, calorie intake, the foods you take, the calories they give you, are not really helping you. In fact, they are creating other problems as you go on in life. Okay, next slide. Now, the diet of Ugandans. Uh, Recently, I was reading a book called Eat, Move, Sleep. That's as simple as it is. It talked about Uganda that in the 1950s, you could hardly see a Ugandan dying of heart disease, dying of these conditions people are dying of today, diabetes, cancer. But now we are seeing a trend shifting from traditional foods to processed foods. Even some of us, we eat processed meat, fish, and dairy products and fast foods. And these foods possess a significant threat to our country's future and even food insecurity and sustainability. If you think I cannot go to the supermarket and buy whatever I want, I don't need to go to the market uh, and buy food there, real food. Some of us, like I said, you want to eat quick food, instant noodles, you want to eat spaghetti, okay? And you don't really eat good food. Then with processed tomato sauce on it, basically, that food is going to affect because if people are now thinking, ah, I can eat, I can buy cheap food from a supermarket. I don't need to get food and cook. All prepared meals are not that sweet. Those prepared meals at home, they have more benefit than even the food you buy in the supermarket. Sometimes food can look nice. When you look at a piece of chicken at KFC looking nice, okay? It may not resemble a piece of chicken at home or a piece of meat at home, but this of meat at home has much more nutrients. The way it has been prepared, it has not lost any nutrients. But the piece at KFC, as much as it is good looking, it may not have the nutrients. All the nutrients sometimes are destroyed in the process of making some of these foods. Okay. Yes. So many Ugandans are now having problems. I think you see these days. Like you saw that a lot of young people are having ulcers these days, a lot of food allergies. When I eat this food, I get allergy. When I eat this food, it gives me stomach problems, and so on and so forth. So there are many problems that are happening because people have now sort of left the traditional ways they were eating their foods and they are adopting the Western diet. Most of us, we don't eat even fruits. You rarely eat fruits. A simple banana, you don't eat it. Um, you don't eat vegetables and greens. Sometimes you may not afford meat, but even little mukene, okay, or silver fish can be a very, very important cheap source of food that can boost your health and even your mental health. Let's continue. You see what young people eat. Okay, let's guess what we eat less. Are they the first foods in a picture or the second one? Hmm? I need to see comments. What do we eat? What do we love eating? Is it the foods in the first picture or the second one? Hmm? What do we love eating? Hmm? I don't see any comments. Hmm? Uh, yeah, some people are saying two. Um, but the health food is in picture two, ideally. But picture one, As much as they look good, those donuts, those ice creams, those fizzy drinks, soda, and those drinks in the supermarket, pizza, sweets, um, you know, as much as they are looking nice, bread, especially white bread, they may not really be healthy for you. But the foods in picture too, eggs, milk, fish, meat, some grains, fruits, vegetables, those foods, okay? Yes. So people, it's important to eat well. Yeah. Yes. Uh, yeah. Next slide. So now there are findings from studies. Actually, when you look at the previous picture, in some high-income countries, they are saying that the diet of most young people, 65% of their diet is from picture one. They will eat burgers, to pizzas, to KFCs, to ice cream, to fizzy drinks, and which means the 35 is from the other food. Okay. So now here they are saying eat more fruits, vegetables, nuts, legumes, poultry, eggs, dairy products in moderation, red meat in also moderation. Actually, some studies they show that when people ate those, it reduced their depression conditions. Okay, so as much as um, the other studies still coming out, but they say that people when they ate these foods, those who felt sad most of the time, the the sadness reduced. Eh? Yeah, in those people who had depression, okay, who had depressive conditions. Yeah. Yes, continue. Mm. Yeah, so there are many studies like you see this picture. Okay, association of ultra processed food consumption with all cause and cause specific mortality. That sometimes over time, these foods we eat actually can affect not only our physical health and even death. It can shorten our lifespan. Okay, good food, good mood. Okay, relationship between nutrition and mental health. Um, with collegiate athletic programs. So there are so many studies that have been done to look at diet, stress, and mental health. Okay, so all these studies are now coming out to show us that there is a link between how we eat and our uh, health, including physical and mental health. But also we talked about other factors. That even when there is food insecurity and mental health, I've given an example in refugee camps. Food might be scarce, um, and people access is hard thing. So that can affect their mental health. Or in a community where children do not feed well, or when there is malnutrition, um, it can affect their mental health. I'll give you an example. We were doing a study a, in a place I won't talk about in Murende. There's a lot of epilepsy there, and we investigated why a lot of young children have epilepsy. But we found out that they sleep under mosquito nets. They were treating malaria. Access to some level was there. There was a health center. But again, when we further dug up and looked at the nutrition, actually realized that actually children were having what we call seizures. Okay, in Muganda, Okweska. Because of poor or malnutrition. So that shows you that nutrition is really, really an important aspect of what? Mental health. Okay. Yes. Next slide. Yeah. So if so, how should we eat? Okay. Uh, at least on your plate, you should have uh, carbohydrates. Um, then we should have greens, fruits and vegetables, and then protein. At least make sure on your plate you should have carbohydrates and fruits and vegetables, and then a protein. Have That's what we call a balanced diet. Okay, so ensure, and the protein and the greens doesn't need to be very expensive, like I said. The protein, there are plant proteins, but also there are animal proteins. Most of us, when we talk about proteins, we think about meat, we think about chicken, but a protein can be, like I said, mukene. Okay. Let's say in our schools, if we cooked beans and we added mukene powder, that is a good meal. It can give you both plant and animal protein. Or if we added greens, some of us are doing agriculture. We can even say we are going to dig some vegetables for us if the school has a garden. And then people can enjoy these things or plant fruits. And sometimes in a season, you can enjoy this. Okay. Or if you can afford, buy yourself a bogoya, buy yourself a simple fruit whenever you find it. Okay. So that it can protect or promote your physical and mental well-being as well. Okay. Yeah. Next slide. Hmm. Yes. So impact of nutrition. Okay. Decreased mental well-being. Um, like I said, processed foods. But when you eat foods in a balanced way, and more of natural foods, then we have improved mental well-being. Okay, let's continue. Now, 95%, for example, one of the things we find, especially among our learners, is they complain about is sleep. Okay, like 95 of your sleep hormone, serotonin. Serotonin is a hormone that helps to trigger your sleep. Okay, is produced within your digestive system. Okay, the gut. But also we have vitamins like B12, B9, zinc can cause depression and anxiety problems. Okay. So please, if you have low mood that is persistent, if you worry so much, it could be that actually um, you are not eating that well. But also you're likely to have feeling tired all the time. You feel like you cannot think straight. Um, and even you feel irritated most of the time. You're quick to anger. Okay, your mood is not that stable. Okay, so it's important to observe again what we eat. Okay, yeah, let's continue. In children, actually, you see that if the mother also doesn't eat well, you see that there are some conditions like spinal bifida, which affects your neural tube, but also the brain. Some of these developmental abnormalities in children might be because the mother did not eat well. Okay, so you see in these pictures that the baby has been born, but then because the mother has had poor nutrition, then they're going to have these abnormalities. Okay, even in their development, if interventions are not done early. Yes. So that's why nutrition is very, very key for us. Spinal bifida, cervical, spinal bifida, and so on. Okay. Yeah. So you have to really, really ensure that you eat well. Okay. Yes. Let's continue. Yeah. Now, let us think about how we can improve our health. At least I wanted to look at simple things um, that we can do. They may not be expensive, but we can, or if our parents can support us, it's okay. Um, you can even set yourself by boundaries, which can be helpful to establishing a good relationship with food. Food is also medicine, okay? Yes. So examples of things you might do is drink a glass of water first thing in the morning. How many of us drink water first thing in the morning? As soon as you wake up like this, you take a glass of water. There are very few of us, okay? But normally, you wake up when you are dehydrated in most cases. That's why when you wake up, sometimes you go a short call because the water has removed some of this, has gone with the wastes, and then you need to add water, okay, within your body. Okay, so the first thing you should do, take a glass of water, okay. Then only buy what some of us when you have a shopping list. Now that you've gone to school, but when you are and some of us are maybe are yet, but some of us when they give you a shopping list or when you make a shopping list, the things you put on uh, may not to eat as it may not be health, but also set yourself a target that whatever is not on the list, I shouldn't buy it. As you walk, you see crackers. As you walk, you see biscuits, you see cookies. You want to buy everything you either seen, but not yet planned. And that's why some of us even we go broke early because you're buying without a plan. Depends on how you feel. You eat because of feelings, but you're not thinking about um, planning and spending your money wisely. Okay. Yes. Now, some of us we want to eat food maybe in a out, especially if you're a day scholar. Eating out, most of us want to eat out in the small restaurants and other places. But those food, those sometimes those people don't make good food. For them, their focus is it's a business, interest, money. So sometimes the food is recycled. Uh, they just cook food to give people a feeling that you've eaten, but when you look at the food, the way they are prepared may not be the best. So if you can and you're home or at school, focus on eating school food. I know the school tries as much as possible to make food more healthier. It may not be the sweet appearing food to your eyes, but behind they know that in that food they have prepared, uh, there are nutrients that your body needs. So don't eat because of the food. Then limit yourself to energy drinks like coffee. Do not overuse coffee. Do not take energy drinks. Okay? If you overtake them, they are going to ruin your mental health. Okay? Yes. If you can, drink sugar in moderation. Some of you, it's difficult to give up sugar, but drink sugar in limited amounts. Don't overtake sugar and coffee. Okay? Now, some of us take these energy drinks like Sting and so, but usually, if you are to take coffee, don't take it after 2 p.m. or take it in moderate amounts or drink at least 2 liters of water a day. I don't know whether people can sustain that, but also do not overtake snacks. Most of us, every time you're eating something, you're eating a biscuit, you're not eating something healthy. You are eating, donuts, you're eating bread, especially white bread. White bread may not be good, okay? Yes, so eat to feel satisfied. Don't overeat until you're so full. That's why some of us doze in the afternoon because you've overeaten. Eat a moderate amount of food so that you keep your brain sharp and active, especially in the afternoon. Okay? Yes. Every week, give yourself a simple goal to buy at least one vegetable or a fruit, okay, that you don't usually eat. Okay? So those are some of the things you might need to think about. I'm not saying you should do everything on the list, but at least if you can do maybe pick around five that you can afford. Pick anything here that you can afford to do that can help you um, to have a good relationship with food. Next slide. So, as I want to summarize, uh, nutrition and physical activity, like I said, also exercise. We said a healthy mind in a healthy body, but also the body needs some form of exercise. Okay, it can promote your mental health, it can promote your brain health. So maintain a healthy body weight. Okay. Yes, when I say exercise or physical activity, I'm not saying that you need to run up to the time when you sweat. Walk more instead of sitting all the time. Aim to move more. Okay, if you can, especially during break time and lunchtime. Even if you don't have something to eat for break, just move, man, breathe in fresh air. Just go and enjoy the sunshine out to get vitamin D. Okay, then follow a healthy dietary pattern. Make half of your plate fruits and vegetables if you can. Make at least half of your grains. Like a grains, peanuts are good. Simsim is good if you can access them. Vegetables, avocado is good. Dodo, sukuma wiki, all those things are good. Okay. Um, Milk, if you can, yogurt, they are good if taken in moderation. Okay. Don't eat meat, or fish all the time. Balance and say this week I'll eat cold beans because beans are also protein. Peas, some even greens can help you with the protein. They have the what we call plant protein, like mushrooms. If you can, they can also help you somewhere somehow. Then choose foods and beverages lower in saturated fat. Don't overdrink sodas and these processed juices. If um, you can take fresh juice. You can take even water is okay. Okay, but um, make sure that you reduce your intake of some of these um, beverages. Why? We said they have added sugars. They have a lot of sodium. Okay, these affect your kidney in one way or another. Sodium can also deplete another important um, minerals like calcium. They can affect your potassium. All these are important for your body. Engage in regular exercises whenever you can, please. When you have free time, go and play a little bit. Take a walk. Okay. Um, do some exercise. Play some games that help you to move your body. Football, netball, um, um, or running, athletics, whenever you can. Okay. Then there are other games that can improve your brain also, like chess, draft, if they're allowed in your school, Scrabble, where you can improve on your brain. So those of some of these activities can be added into your routines. Next slide. Yes. So if so, I summarize by saying that food is our best medicine. Sometimes it's better to prevent than to cure. Okay? By the time you cure a condition, sometimes it has cost you a lot of money. We even not talked about dental health. Most of these foods we eat affect our teeth. Some of us have extracted teeth because we are eating so much teeth, and then the bacteria attack our teeth, and then we end up removing these teeth. So prevention is better than cure. Prevention is cheaper. Okay. Yes, if you can focus on preventing, focus on eating well. Okay, you can save yourself from a lot of diseases. And if you're sickly, one of the things you find that you can't perform well, you even missed school days because you are not healthy. Okay, so please, you can use food as medicine. Okay, next. Yeah, so I would like to thank you for being attentive. I think we can now enter into some discussions and questions. Yes, yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Doctor, for the wonderful presentation. Now, members, in case you have any question concerning nutrition, the presentation, feel free to raise up your hand. You can as well have your question put in the chat and then it will be responded to. But those who have, feel free to, I think I can allow it to unmute and then you can ask your question in case we have some questions concerning nutrition. Okay. Okay, it seems we okay. No one has a question.
Okay, so
Maybe
maybe
Doctor.
I would
Okay,
like to repeat. There is a book called Eat, Move, Sleep by Tom. I can't remember, but just not take note of those titles. Eat, Move, Sleep. That is the first book I tell you to read about nutrition. If you want to eat well, learn how to eat well. There's another book called Brain Energy. You can also read about that. So those books can help you. The other ones, I think I can share them if people are interested to learn, because learning never ends. Um, you can learn how. Some of us, even our parents, can be struggling with some of these nutritional issues. And then you can talk to them if you can about, if possible, diet. Okay? Yes. Yeah, thank you.
yeah, thank you, Doctor. There is another question in the chat from Treasure. Dr. Samuel, have you been able to see the question?
Yes,
Okay.
there's Treasure here asking if it's healthy to go on a calorie deficit diet. The first thing I would say, a calorie deficit diet is good, especially for people who want to lose weight. But a calorie deficit diet is more of reducing sugars intake and then having more of proteins, essential fats, and vitamins and minerals. Or you can take fruits and vegetables to provide that. But before you do that, it's always important to go to your doctor and uh, have to examine you whether you can start going on that. But also start slowly. Okay? Start slowly. When we say calorie deficit, you reduce the amount of things you eat. Or there's what we call intermittent fasting. People within 24 hours, you reduce the amount of hours you eat. Okay. Um, you focus on eating small but not large amounts. Okay. That's when you can have a calorie deficit. You create a calorie deficit. So what happens is when you're feeling hungry and you don't give your body food, the body goes to it has energy stores, which are the fats. So it will go to your fats and convert them into energy. For those who want to lose weight, if they go on that, but before you do that, first consult your doctor. It's not advisable when you have certain medical conditions. If you have ulcers, it might not be good, but first consult your doctor. Okay. There's another one who, Godfrey, who says, mine is a timing of meals. Does it have any effect on your mental health? Um, in the long run, yes. For example, if you take, if let's say if you We said if you take caffeine, coffee at night, you won't sleep, and that can affect on your mental health. So actually, we've said that it's best to take caffeine drinks if you are to take them, not later than 2. But for us also to digest food properly and have good sleep, it is better you have your supper, let's say early, 7 or 8. It will be very good. Take a moderate amount of lunch. Don't take a big chunk of food, so that your brain can remain active, especially around for us, for those of us who take meals in the who have afternoon lessons rather. It keeps your brain active when you eat a moderate amount of food. But you can also snack on fruits. You can snack on health nuts like ground nuts or simsim if you can have them. Okay. Yes, but the timing is important. Breakfast, the best time, and schools by the way know this. If they say go for break time, the best time for break when your digestive system can do the best for you is around 10 a.m. Okay, so please use that time to your advantage. Okay. Yes. Then how can we make this info reach to most teachers, parents, and learners? And important, how can we make them, how to make them appreciate? And any government or NGO support for this agenda in schools. I think we can start these talks, especially when we have PTA meetings, because I know in PTA meetings there are parents, teachers, and also what school administrators. We can have these talks uh, and then we start these discussions. And once we have this information out there, I think people can begin to come on board, uh, so that they can make changes, okay? To improve not only the physical health but also the mental well-being of the children. But I think also in a government, I think I've looked at some of these guidelines. I think there is one for, I will check, either Ministry of Gender or something. There is something on nutrition, but sometimes the school programs can be so busy that sometimes they don't take in attention to some of these, yes, programs or initiatives to be implemented in their schools. Okay. But I will check and confirm. But it's like I've seen some documents that talk about how we can improving nutrition in schools, either Ministry of Gender or Ministry of Education or Ministry of Health. I'm not so certain that I will check and confirm. But I know they are there in one way or another, but sometimes the challenge is implementation. Yes. Yes. The other questions, let me see if there are any um, in the chats. We still have more questions. No, I think there are no more questions, unless someone is asking a question online live. Yeah, thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, Doctor. Any questions before we end the session, members? Okay, okay, okay. Doctor, could you hint more again, or maybe again, on the other video? There's a video you shared with us.
Mm,
Yeah, unfortunately, some members are not yet on the WhatsApp group, but maybe you can
mm.
talk about it briefly.
Yes, there's a video I shared with Mr. Kaziwa on noodles. Noodles, I know these days it's good it's a common practice for us as young people to pack something as snacks. And these have also been popularized. But research has shown that some of these foods, like I said, highly processed foods can be detrimental to your health unknowingly. You're eating, but you don't know the impact. Now, some of these foods contain additives. Some of these additives can be like there's an additive called MSG, monoglucosulfate, something I cannot, and the name is long, but they they normally disrupt with your hormone functioning in the body. Okay. And once your hormones are disrupted, either the brain or something, it impacts on your learning, it impacts on your mental health. Yeah. Some of them have a lot of added sugars, um, then oils. Some of these highly processed oils can affect your inflammation. Inflammation means that they can easily cause disease and damage to your body. When you eat food, it can affect your inner lining of your digestive systems. Many young people these days are crying of ulcers and they don't seem to know why. But me, I know that one of the things you should really, really look at is food. And then some of these foods, although they leave you full, but they steal vital nutrients from your body. Okay? That's why sometimes when you eat some of these foods, you feel a bit as if you don't have energy, you cannot do anything, you are not alert. Okay? It's because silently they are taking away they are stealing vital nutrients from your body. Okay? So it's important to pay particular attention. Me, I would say that if you can, focus on natural foods. Rarely, if you cannot control yourself, that's when you should buy, but don't uh, um, prioritize some of these foods as to be in as your major source of food or diet that you should eat every time. Okay, so that's what I can say. But there are many documentaries I have on diet. If young people can watch some of these things as well, then we can maybe learn more about uh, their diet and how they can feel better. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Summer, once again for this wonderful session. I also want to thank all the members that have been. Okay, Doctor, you can first respond to that one in the chat.
Do you advise schools uh, to make children take biscuits to school? I could say yes, but they should have them in moderation. Okay, only in moderation. Why? Biscuits contain a lot of sugars and additives. Even uh, I know there's a doctor on this group, but there's what we call a high glycemic index. When you take some of these, they have a very high, they give you what we call a sugar spike. You feel so high, you feel so restless, okay, because of the sugar. And they are more like, and also sugar, by the way, is addictive. Most people do not know that anything sweet. So, yes, but only in moderation. Please, you can take other alternatives. Pack at least, okay, biscuits in moderation. Um, Look at peanuts. Um, Pack some hard corn if you can eat them. Okay, but also take, take fruits. Fruits, okay. If the school has a canteen where they can allow you to buy um, fruits and health foods, please. That is good, but please do not really pack so much of these processed foods. Okay, especially biscuits, cookies, and so on. And even most of them, if you read the labels, they may not have a lot of nutrients that your body will benefit from. Okay, they only give you what we call a sugar spike, a sugar high. But also, the more you eat these sugars, it you come closer to other conditions like diabetes. Diabetes, we used to know it as a disease of old people, but of recent, we are seeing young people having diabetes as well. Okay, so please uh, take these things, but only in moderation. Okay, yes, to maintain your uh, physical and mental well-being. Okay. Yes. Oh, there's another one. Some people say yogurt is good for children. Yes, yogurt is good, but in most cases, I would say the yogurt in the supermarkets, it tastes good, but when you put a lot of food color in it, that's where the challenge is. If possible, take if you can sweeten, if you find a sweetener and take plain yogurt, I would say that would be the best. Buy plain yogurt, put a little bit of sugar, put a little bit of honey, and take it. That will be the best yogurt you can take. But most of these, when they add food color and additives, then that affects your health in the long run. Okay? Yes.
Okay, thank you so much, Doctor. Maybe, Doctor, you can tell us any closing remarks and then we can end the session. But thank you so much.
Yes. Yes. My closing remarks would be one of the things we can do to promote our physical and mental health is nutrition. Okay? Please uh, don't wait only Dr. James to go to Dr. James' clinic when you're sick. But also, Dr. James, I know he can make recommendations for you if you are unwell, to alongside medication, of course, to be healthy. So food is medicine. Eat food like medicine. Treat your body well, and your body will also serve you well. Okay. Protect your mental health, protect your physical and your mental health, and then your body will serve you well. So your physical and your mental health are wealth. So when you guard them jealously, then they will help you achieve your goals in life. Those are my closing remarks.
Thank you so much, Doctor. Someone wanted your contact here.
Hmm. Can I
It is
type
well.
it? Hmm.
Both, you can do both, Doctor.
Okay. My contact is 0782 777 641. Okay. So it's there in the chat if you can be able to see it. 0782 777 641. Yeah.
Okay,
All right.
thank you so much, Doctor. And those who may have other issues concerning mental health, feel free to reach out to him. He's going to be of good help. Even parents who are on the call and your children have such issues, it can be of good help. Thank you so much, everyone, and let me wish you a good day.